Sean Feucht, for those of you who don't know, is a Christian musician from the United States. He's MAGA. He is pro-life. He's pro-traditional family, and he was anti-COVID restriction, which is kind of a mainstream viewpoint in this country, regardless of what the mainstream media and the liberals, and I think I repeat myself when I make the distinction there, would tell you. And he had 6 venues cancel on him for safety concerns. Why? Because of these dangerous Christians might be singing in a publicly owned venue. So 6 venues canceled on him. We started a petition at letusworship.ca to give you an opportunity to let your voice be heard, because I don't think these politicians and these municipal bureaucrats, Parks Canada bureaucrats, I don't think they really speak for Canadians. They speak for themselves in their little bubble. But even people who disagree with Sean Feucht on some issues believe that he has a right to peacefully express those views, let alone express them in a church. However, Alexa, you were there when Montreal Mayor Valérie Plante thought that she could have some sort of government control over what was said and done inside of a church worship service.
I think she still think that she have the control over it, because she mentioned but the spokesperson for her say that they will issue, and they have issued a $2,500 fine, what the church didn't receive yet. I don't know if they will receive on the mail, how long it would take, or if they will really receive a fine, or it's just a talking point to scare people, or like an intimidation tactic. We still don't know yet. We will know when the fines will come into the mail or at the church. But the thing is, the mayor never called the church, never tried to engage with them, try to find like a common ground or something like that, or just like trying to explain something. And same when they decided to find the church, they never called them.
Yeah, and I mean, they'll likely find them after the fact. But what I find most offensive in all of this, and offensive is probably the wrong word, what I find revolting in all of this is that the city communicated directly with the media, but never bothered to communicate directly with the church. So the media knew the church is fined, but the church didn't really know that they had been fined. This stuff went directly to the media. And the good news is that you have connected this church with our friends over at the Democracy Fund, because they should not pay this fine, because the city does not have a right to determine what constitutes a worship service within the confines of a church. And they can send all the cops they want, but that just doesn't change. We've got a video from you. Nearly a dozen Montreal police officers were inside the church that offered to host American Christian rocker Sean Feucht. Let's see that.
As you know, Sean Feucht is supposed to perform tonight, but now there is a lot of police officers who are surrounding the church at the moment. I know that some of them are inside. We know that the city said that they don't have the authorization to perform tonight, and they are ready to deliver infraction notice. So we are here, we are following the situation, but I'm showing you some of the footage of the police now trying to enter the church.
C'est que l'article 176 du Code criminel canadien est très clair. Quiconque veut interrompre une célébration religieuse est passible de 2 ans de prison. Ça veut dire que n'importe quel de ces policiers-là Et on a déjà évoqué cette clause des autres. N'importe quel de ces policiers-là qui veut empêcher une célébration religieuse ou des films pour être sûr qu'ils sont bien sur caméra sont passibles de 2 ans de prison. Selon l'article 165 de la loi. Alors, regardez bien le visage.
J'ai l'autorisation des gens.
Vous allez juste descendre du palier.
Bonjour, madame.
J'ai eu l'autorisation de
Ça fait 2 fois que je demande, juste descendre du palier. Vous allez filmer, vous allez parler Skype, mais juste rester là.
So, just to give some context on all this, so it was not the first time that the police went to the church. First of all, at first I think they were kind of like saying to the church that they cannot go ahead with like this show, and the church said, no, I'm going to go ahead anyway, because it's freedom of religion. And so the police, when they went back and tried to enter, they say to the church, we need to have easy access to go in the church if something happened during the worship service. Like example, someone from the Antifa or protester come in and there's a fight. So it's why they say we need this access to always be available for us to go in and out. But the thing is, you can't interrupt a worship service, because this is under the criminal code. You can't just like decide to interrupt the service. Right. So instead of talking with us and just say no, and just try to explain what they were doing, they kind of pushed everybody away and just do whatever they want, instead of explaining correctly what was their next move. But in fact, they were there to protect the church and the people who were attending the worship service, but they failed to do their job. What I mean by that, the protesters were the other side of the street from the church. And at one point, they let them go into the middle of the road, and then on the same side of the road of the church, and then step in the stairway of the church without intervening and stopping them to go even further. What that created, it's like the protesters were straight in front of the church, intimidating, harassing, calling names the people who were attending the church. Also, someone slept inside of the church, and it was able to lit 2 fire bombs and get away with it because nobody actually stopped them, not even the police outside of the church. So why then you ask for having access inside of the church, and this happened, and you never showed up and you never stopped that man? You had to ask for the security footage afterwards to open an investigation. But that man went out on the front of the church and nobody stopped him.
My God. Let's go through some of this footage, but real quick, I would just want to reference something that you brought up. It's section 176 of the Canadian Criminal Code. Let's just read that together. I put it in this Slack chat, Efron. 176 of the Criminal Code. Every person is guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for a term of not more than 2 years, or is guilty of an offense punishable on summary conviction. Who? By threats or force. This is, I think, applies to both the police and the Antifa at this point. Unlawfully obstructs or prevents or endeavors to obstruct or prevent an officiant from celebrating a religious or spiritual services or performing any other function in connection with their calling, or knowing that an officiant is about to perform, is on their way to perform, or is returning from the performance of any duties or functions mentioned in paragraph A, assaults or offers any violence to them, or arrests them on a civil process under the pretense of executing a civil process. Everyone who willfully disturbs or disrupts an assemblage or persons met for religious worship or for a moral, social, or benevolent purpose is guilty of an offense punishable on summary conviction. So For the police to interrupt a religious service, that's illegal. For these people to walk in and throw a smoke bomb, also illegal. But and to intimidate in any way someone from carrying out their calling as a spiritual leader is also a criminal offense in this country. But as we saw during COVID, the police and people tasked with making sure our charter rights are protected are so often the ones violating or at least allowing the violations to go forward. Let's show some of the footage that you mentioned there. We've got the standoff, the Antifa and their NDP foot soldiers were gathered across the police or across from the church. You tried to speak with them, but they got grabby with you in front of the cops.
Yeah.
So we are now standing inside of the church because the police
Palestinian
lost
flags.
control of the crowd. As you can see, they were supposed to be the other the side of the street, but now they are stepping and blocking the traffic. And you see the police, instead of asking them to go to the other side of the street, they literally just put a barricade, orange line to prevent them to go close to the church. But in reality, they should have asked them to stay at the opposite side of the street. But you can see the police have lost control. Now this lady, an Antifa lady, is now staying on the stair, despite the police saying that if we are staying on the stair, we will be arrested for obstruction of their job. But you see the bystander again, why she's not being arrested while they actually told us that. And now we have people with Palestinian flag, and they all sing like everybody is hates the fascists. And we have like some people with kefiye, people giving point fingers. It looked like really, really loving and cheering people. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so funny because the police came to see us because we were standing on on the stair because
Right.
obviously we will not go down and being attacked. So they came and they told us, please go inside or go down on the stair, because if you stay on the stair, you're gonna be arrested for obstruction. Okay, but what about them? Because you
Right.
never actually told them the same thing, or if you did, you didn't arrest them. So I told them, but I want to cover what is happening outside, but I
Right.
cannot go down to the stair or I'm going to be attacked and you're not going to protect me because it's what you did last time. And they say, no, we are going to protect you. I say, oh yeah, can I have like your words on this? Because last time it's what you actually didn't do this.
Okay,
And
so hang on, I just want to interrupt you. So that guy is being arrested there, and yet someone is allowed to hold a flag there. Is she being arrested for obstruction? Or is she just being told to go stand somewhere else?
actually, I don't know, because at one point the police decided to act. So she wasn't arrested. She was just handled physically down to the stair and put on the
Exactly.
street. But him, he was arrested.
She was
Um,
obstructing that arrest.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yet she's not threatened with obstruction. You were.
yeah. And that guy who got arrested, by the way, was released at the same area because he took a picture afterwards on social media. And but Natasha was driven far away from the protest and released in the middle of like downtown, and she got freed there. But this man was just catch and release at the same area.
Gross.
Can you explain me this double standard?
No, I can't because I mean, they're going to arrest journalists for obstruction, but they didn't catch the guy before he came in and set a smoke bomb off inside the church. Let's watch this footage.
I was searching for the person, but the person has left already. And I don't know if we can show also when Sean actually have the smoke bomb in his hand. So
Yeah,
I
I
need
think there's
to,
another angle,
yeah, I need to
Efron, if you can find
explain
that.
that I have all the video of the security camera, but I need to tell the viewer that I'm waiting for the agreement and the okay from the people who actually gave me the security footage
There,
to
look it.
release it.
They threw it up on stage.
Yeah.
And these are a favorite at these pro-Hamas protests, these red smoke bombs. They have the red and the green ones all the time when they're marching on the streets of Montreal. So we know these are the same people.
Mhm.
And it doesn't even phase them. And it shouldn't, by the way. But again, the police said, we need to have entry to the church to make sure that you're safe. And then it's like, okay, where were you then?
They were not there. And when
Yeah.
they saw the two smoke bomb, there is not one police who came inside and checked what happened and just tried to speak with someone like quietly without interrupting anything to just say, okay, what happened? You know?
Yeah.
And no, obviously, and they didn't actually look for him because obviously it was not that far away. He just ran out. And I know that the police were blocking all the street around. So the police probably saw that man running
Sure.
away. Yeah, of course they saw him.
Jeez. We've got Sean Feucht addressing the audience in Montreal who had to run the gauntlet of these unhinged lunatics blocking their church to get inside. He's got a message for them.
Did you know what we did today? We started a pledge. We bought a website, letusworship.ca. Letusworship.ca. On that website, there's a pledge for the people of Canada. We did a pledge in COVID. That's what started this whole thing. It wasn't supposed to be a movement, it was just a pledge. But then God said, put feet to the vision. So we started a pledge, we started a petition, and I need everybody to go on tonight and to sign it. This pledge is going to your Prime Minister. This pledge is going to your government officials. Today, before sound check, I was on a Zoom call with a lot of lawyers across Canada. A lot of them. And all of them are very excited because they know that these lawsuits can set a precedent in Canada that never again can the government, for no reason, shut down the freedom of Christians to worship their God.
He's right.
Right.
He's totally right. And I think our petition at letusworship.ca, when we will deliver it, I'm pretty sure we will have some resistance when we will deliver the petition. You know, like we did it before. We always had like some crazy reaction every time that we try to deliver a petition that this represents the voice of Canadians. So I'm pretty sure we'll have again like some resistance, and some people will like try to have like a really crazy reaction. Like, you know, I saw the petition in Quebec when some Christian had delivered a petition against the public prayer. Like our premier in Quebec wants to ban the public prayer, but for all faith. So police actually showed up to receive to take the petition. I found that a little bit crazy to see, like just like peaceful Christian delivering a petition and sending police officer to make sure that everything go well.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that it's come down to this.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just the hand of government trying to control what goes on in our churches. They got a taste of it during COVID, and they don't want to let that power go. They don't want to let that control go. And a lot of pastors willingly gave it to the government. And so the government is like a monster. You feed it, it gets bigger and hungrier. And here we are. They don't want to let go of that. And it doesn't matter what kind of Christian you are. I am not the same type of Christian as Sean Feucht. In fact, I once wrote emails about intrusive percussive instruments at Mass. It's not my style, but I think that churches have a right to worship in the way that they see fit. And it has been attributed to St. Augustine that when you sing, you pray twice. And so singing is an essential part of Christian worship, whether Valerie Plante, the Montreal mayor, agrees or not.
And the thing is, he came to Canada multiple times. Like, it's not his first rodeo.
Mhm.
It's just that because he has been associated with Donald Trump because he went to the White House, and that suddenly everybody kind of panicked and got hysterical about him. Like, come on, like this man had been already in Canada, nothing happened. It was always peaceful, and like suddenly, no, it's not acceptable.
Yep. It's stupid. It's stupid. This is the government for you, and that's why we have to fight back. Now, that wasn't the only event over the weekend. There was an event in Toronto as well, and David Menzies and Efron were out there in the world. We've got a clip from Efron, who's going to actually key it up because I think he's in the control room. Sean Feucht's Christian service about to take place in Toronto. And he shows us a little bit of how it looks so far. I believe we have a little bit of the Streisand effect happening here, where they tell you, don't go, look away, this is bad. And people like me are like, actually, now I want to go more. So let's see this. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Sorry, Olivia whispers in my ear. We'll get to that in a second. Alexa, why don't Olivia wants us to show you talking to the Antifa crazies.
Yeah,
about
because
why they were there.
literally, I got kind of assaulted,
Yeah.
and the police saw it, did nothing again, and simply say, "Oh, but you see that you're not welcome. You should probably go to the other side of the street," instead of like taking that guy, charging him for assault, and making sure that nobody else will do it again. Because by not giving any sanction, of course they would do it again. Look at that. Look at the clip.
How about a nice cup of get the fuck out?
Hein?
Crissez votre camp.
Tu peux pas me dire de crisser mon camp sur
Oui, je
une
peux te
place
dire de
publique?
crisser ton camp. Je peux te dire de crisser ton camp parce que tu le mérites. Décalisse.
Pourquoi je le mérite?
Décalisse, t'as pas d'affaires ici.
Hey, vous n'avez pas le droit de toucher à ça, là. Vous n'avez pas le droit, là. Ça, je suis désolée, là, mais ça, c'est une agression. Oui.
Ah ouais, vous êtes bon en Christ là, pour vous
Vous
plaindre.
n'avez pas le droit de toucher mon micro, c'est mon outil de travail. Pourquoi vous ne l'arrêtez pas? Il n'y a pas le droit de toucher mes appareils, là. En Ontario, il l'aurait arrêté déjà, lui. En Ontario, il l'aurait arrêté direct.
En vous approchant,
Non, il n'y a pas le droit de toucher mon micro.
sauf que là, vous vous approchez, vous n'êtes pas la bienvenue.
Non, il s'est approché de moi, monsieur, si vous l'avez bien vu. Il est venu vers moi, il m'a menacé et il a pris mon micro.
La meilleure chose, je pense, dans votre situation, c'est peut-être juste d'aller de l'autre côté.
Je le sais, mais j'ai le droit de marcher, je suis quand même une citoyenne.
Je comprends, mais vous sachez que vous êtes pas nécessairement la bienvenue. Puis...
Oui, mais je ne vais pas commencer à traverser quand c'est pas la lumière pour être après ça une infraction de jaywalking. Hein? Puis c'est clairement lui qui... Mais lui, non, il est arrivé tout d'un coup. Il était pas là tout à l'heure.
T'es une victime.
Pas une victime, monsieur.
Ouais, ben va t'amuser, va t'amuser.
Vous n'avez pas à être agressif comme ça, monsieur.
Take down up your key, sir.
C'est quoi votre nom, monsieur? C'est quoi votre nom?
C'est quoi mon nom? Mon nom, aussi, c'est Émile Henry, puis je t'emmerde.
Really loving protester, and like the police were telling me, oh, but just go to the other side of the street. I say, but the light is red. I'm not going to cross, and after that you have a reason to charge me for jaywalking. That's I'm not going to do that. No, loving Québécois.
It's like these people have never heard a word that Sean Feucht has ever said. Like not even a word. They just know that somebody said that he kind of likes Donald Trump, and even worse, he's one of those disgusting Americans, according to the Canadian left. And worse still, a Christian, gotta go. Like they have no idea what he said, what he's done, nothing. They just know he checks all the boxes for them not to like him. And you know what you normally do when you don't like what people have to say? You just go do something else with your time.
Exactly. Right? I'm not going to bother people who are say or do something that I don't like, but I would say, but freedom of expression, do whatever you want. I have something else to do.
Right. But here we are.